if you do not know how to channel, because there is not one company in the arts or in business, yeah, as we know it. There's not a company that hires more than 10 people, yeah, and all of them are not creative. There is always creativity in a company.
Yeah. Welcome back from that break. My name is Okwera, and in the studio is Julius Kyazze, who is the business director and co-founder of Swangz Avenue, business man right there in talent management. Julius, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
I start from the very first comment here. Somebody is sending me comments from the US. Says, Okwera, thank you very much for bringing my OB, from way back in the days. He's always been a dancer, and he's been around dancing for a while. I am little wonder he's stuck into the industry and trying to help the industry become very professional. I have a question for Julius though. Julius, what criteria do you guys use to pick up an artist? Can you take up an artist who is just upcoming, or you only take those who have have some great music already to themselves? Yeah.
We do not actually. If you look at the artists we've had in the past, you had never heard of Azawi, so I don't think she would qualify as an artist who had music. When I met her, she only had one song. You had never heard of Irene Intare before we brought her to you. So that's not true. It's not that we take artists that have music. We just take talent. Like if you have something different to bring to the marketplace, then you are our person. So we're always looking for what is it that you have that is different.
Wow.
Yeah, because anyone can sing well, but then you don't want to have, 30 artists singing the same thing. So it's always about, like in a business, if you're going to bring a soap to the market, a detergent, or you're going to bring, a lot of these things, you're going to have something different from, so we're always looking for something different.
Okay. I see Mr. Kawoya here saying, Okwera, thank you very much. I stayed up late watching the show from the US. Swangz Avenue is my place, and I come from Makindi, so those are my friends. Swangali, oh yeah! And it says, thank you very much for bringing Julius on the show. I want to ask Julius the question. How is he helping the young people who come for bars? Over the years, there seems to be, the word has been going on, but is it helping the young people in the country define themselves to be meaningful young people who can be serious people tomorrow, not people who are just going to be told things and change? How is that happening? Is there a program for mentorship at bars?
Yes, there is. There's a program we've been running the last couple of years before COVID. It's called the Dream Fair, Bars Dream Fair.
Okay.
So we actually killed one of our most grossing events that were just about party and turned into a career-led event.
Okay.
So kids come together and show stuff they've done or they can do, projects, business proposals, and then we get them in touch with prospects, either people that can partner with them, people that can invest. So yes, the answer is yes, we have programs that are skewed to that. Even the magazine itself, even now in its soft copy edition, we are very keen on empowering the youth and giving them opportunities to learn and do stuff for themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, that's coming for you, Mr. Kawoya, right there in the US. We're going to go back to the show. We started with the questions, and I think those are very interesting questions for Julius to answer. I want to put the topic of the discussion up there for you to follow, and we want to encourage you to share as much as possible. 2022 challenges for independent creatives, arts in events, supply chain, and in talent management and readiness as the events open up in Uganda after 2 years. Julius is going to break that down for us. They have been developing talent in the lockdown. Since 2020, COVID-19 came into play, these guys have been doing their things. How are they doing it? Who qualifies to be part of their, people? And the first question to you, Julius, is actually, as you're managing some of the most trending female artists in the country at the moment, I think you're leading in that space. How have you managed to, you know, take them through what has been the most daunting period of COVID-19?
When COVID hit, and we started experiencing shutdowns, I think March of 2020, first, you know, no one took it serious. We were like, you know, it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they lock us down for 3 weeks, you know, we get back to work. Then it becomes another 3 weeks. Then it becomes another month. Then 2 months. Before you know it, it's 6 months. So, and that's when a lot of people, I think, got into depression, like across the board, not just creatives. So there was a lot of uncertainty. You could not know or tell to what extent that was going to happen. And as a business and a business lead, I realized quickly that now I need to lead my troops. So instead of I need to change the things that I have control over. We didn't, or even up to now, we don't have control over when economies are open, when are they closed, what happens to COVID, that we don't have control over. So I sat my team down and told them, guys, this we have no control over. So if we focus, what we need to do is change our focus and move it from what we do not have and put it to what we have, and then ask ourselves, what can we do with what we have? And the only thing we had was time. So we said, okay, we have 3 artists on the label right now. You have time. That's the only thing you have. You don't have shows. You don't have control of what happens. You don't have control of the economy, but you have time. So we're like, okay, Vinka, she was coming. She was at the back of a very hectic 2019. She had released an album, a song every month with a video, very hectic. She had already been planned to take some time off. So we're like, okay, what do you do with your time now? Rest. Because it had been planned anyway. So Vinka took time off, focused on her family. She's a young mother now, and it was perfect. So she wasn't really, you know, hurt in any way. You look at a person like Winnie, also a busy 2019. She had some personal projects that needed to be moving. So it was a good diversion as well to focus on certain things. She would have loved to perform more, you know, the monies would have done better. But we said, no, let's change the focus. Then you have an artist like Azawi, who we had just put out on the market. And then COVID hits. So the question is, there's no shows, there's nothing happening. So this is going to naturally affect your growth. But we said, no, it doesn't have to. At least we have time. So what do we do with the time? We went to studio, produced an album that has gone on to be one of Africa's best albums of 2020. Was on the African Apple charts for a full month at #1. And that's what we used the time for. And if you look at what we did over the time, none of our artists, or even as a business, joined the crusades of, can we get opened? Can the government open us? Because we realize we don't have control over that. It doesn't matter how much you scream about it. It's a global problem. We focused on what we had and what we could do with it, which was time, and that's how we used it. And we, you know, I'm glad we made that decision, because now that the economy is opening, we feel like all our artists are in a good place.
To start.
Yep. Vinka took the necessary rest. She made a comeback last year towards the end of last year. Winnie has so much lined up. She has some big announcements coming soon. Azawi is the, I think, most booked artist right now. So things you can't control, abandon. Focus on the ones that you can control. That was the strategy. That's what we did.
Fantastic. Talking of that, Julius, I saw you are hiring. You're hiring a media staff. You know, to when the government actually opened up, which means you dropped some people during COVID-19, if at all. The Creative Heart in Uganda is in this position. Do you have some people in the Creative Heart in this new position that you're setting up, and or would you, you know, let go of the previous employees during the lockdown? Would you call them back?
Truthfully, COVID was hard on everyone, including ourselves. But at Swangz, we didn't let go of anyone. So these new jobs that we're advertising are entry-level jobs, because the people that occupied those jobs before have actually moved on to other roles in the business. I'll give you an example of like the digital executive job we've advertised. In lockdown, again, looking at what we have, you know, where are the opportunities? COVID had so many opportunities. So the choice was between, you know, either you choose to whine about it or look for the opportunities. As a business, we said, we're not going to whine about COVID. Let's look for the opportunities. And one of the opportunities was there was a growth in demand for data consumption, information on mobile, and voices of key influencers or people with influence. You know, that demand grew exponentially. So we rolled out what we call the influencer management program, where we sign up influencers the same way we work with musicians. Now that program grew so well, and it served us well, served the influencers well, and served our clients very well. To a point that we are under a bit of pressure now to take up more influencers. So it's created a gap that department needs to grow. That's why we're hiring. And that's true for even a lot of the other things that we're doing. So it's more of an expansion than replacement.
Oh, great. And just to, you know, run you through, if you're following this show, it's a Creative Industry Talk. We're talking to Julius Kyazze, who is the business director at Swangz Avenue, and we're talking about 2022 challenges for independent creative arts in event supply chain, in talent management, and its readiness as the events open up for, you know, Uganda after 2 years of being in the lockdown and impact brought about by COVID-19. What do you think? Do you think the events companies are ready, talent managers are ready? Is what Julius is talking about. You two have a question, share it, and definitely Julius will definitely be able to answer it. Julius, as a content artist manager, let's get to this point before we take a break. You seems to be on the providing end for most people who need the talent to be part of either their brand or their product or the events. And of course, the receiving end of the value chain starts with you. Now, programmers like Baimba are calling you for, you know, to program your artist, and not only because they are actually trending, but we believe that they need them, first of all, to be on the stage for, you know, festivals, and are also considerate of their financial situation going forward. What comments do you give about this one, or what would be your answer to this one?
You know, selling art or music is not any different from many other businesses. You price according to your input. You know, if it's a service business, it's going to be, you're going to look at your expenses as well, and how much you put and how much value you bring to the marketplace. Economies are opening up. People want to go out and have a good time, but also we know they are looking for value. And that will guide our pricing as well. So we're being very, very considerate in many, many ways. For instance, we're also in the business of promoting and doing concerts and stuff. But we know you're going to start seeing a lot of communications going up, you know, foreign artists, Nigerians coming into the economy. And they are going to charge about maybe $30,000, $20,000. They'll pay these guys. So if I have the artist of the year voted by many artists, many different you know, award-giving groups, you know, with #1 album, not just in Uganda, but in different places. Or even the other artists, you know, even artists like Shiba and everyone else that are not necessarily Swangz. Like if an artist is trending and they are going to give value to the promoter, our worry then is, yes, are we able to help this promoter make their money back? And if that answer is yes, then we think we are reasonably pricing. And we're not going to charge you what the Nigerians are charging you. It will be a little fraction of what those guys are going to charge you. For artists that are able to hold your crowd for an hour plus. So I think we are very, very well priced and considerate to the promoters.
And on that note, do you think that Ugandan artists are beginning to get their worth, you know, from a, you know, manager perspective? Talent management in Uganda for a long time have not been understood very well. We mix them up. You know, we're talking about talent manager we're talking about artist manager, we're talking about studio manager, we're talking about promoter,
errands people.
Yes, errands people. And so for a long time, talent managers have been confused as errands for artists. And we've seen some big artists, they introduce and say, this is a manager. But the manager is bringing a bottle of water for the artist, is running, go get this food, go get it. That's not the work of the manager. How have you been able to manage it at Swangz Avenue? With top 3 artists at the moment, and moreover females that are considered to be very complex.
So for starters, everyone is quick to blame the musicians, that you pick the wrong people. But we need also to ask these people that claim to be managers, have they done enough to go beyond running around to buy soda for the artists? Because the question always is, are you giving enough value to this artist? So they find an errands person, and then they have you as a manager. Because the people that want to be called managers, the value that they are giving is errand boys. So if the only value you're giving me is an errand boy, so the artist then has the right to treat you as such. And this is a conversation I've had even with our own internal different managers. We need to be able to constantly give our artists value. We need to reach out to festival organizers. We need to do strategy. We need to look into image branding for the artist. That's what a manager does. But then you ask a lot of the managers, do you do that or you just take calls? Most people that say they are managers, they're actually booking people.
Agents, yes.
They just wait for
the artist, and that's all they do.
You can't say you're a manager. If all you do is take a phone call and negotiate a fee, anyone can do that. An artist can get their sister or their little brother to just take those phone calls. It's just a booking. But before the artist gets to receive that phone call, there's a lot of donkey work that needs to be done. So as an artist manager, or even my colleagues in the business, that's what we need to work on. We need to add value to the artists. And then they won't treat you as, but they don't treat you as errands people.
All right. Many festival, programmers, we're glad we have Bayimba in Uganda that took over that space as a professional, festival and international festival, trying to program artists. I was having a conversation with Kyazze Chiwewa, who is actually a resident panelist on this particular program where we're in right now, the Creative Industry Talk. And I was asking him, what criteria do you guys use to, pick an artist? Because we've had so many artists saying, no, I want to be booked by Bayimba, but they're not picking me. I'm a big person and a big name. Bayimba, these guys of Bayimba are actually not being kind. They just like booking foreign artists. And then you ask, Kyazze says, but many of these artists are not organized. Festival programmers are looking for an artist with a proper management system behind them that can manage the financial flow of the artist, the image of the artist, and as well as, the investment of the artist. These are things we're looking for. So simple things like profile. When you ask an artist to send a profile, they send you a Word document with a picture on top and then a few words down here, and that's it. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a proper profile. What comments would you give to that? And are the festival programmers like Bayimba right to demand for professional documents like this, or we're not yet there?
The festival organizers are very right. And even for us in the business, we need to stop looking at this as a fun activity. This is a business. So if it's a business, then you have to treat it as one. You want your artist to be booked at a festival, have a professional electronic kit that you send for these people to know who your artist is, what they're about, all the images, links to their work, contacts and all that. It's not too much to ask. Because without that information, how are they then going to understand your artist? Then you've not given your artist a chance. So I think the festival organizers are entirely correct in that regard, and that's how the world actually operates. So the onus is on us to elevate ourselves as an industry, to do certain things right. We are quick sometimes to want to downplay the impact of our colleagues in other markets, like West Africa and South Africa and all that. But these guys have been doing this stuff. They will send you a technical rider, they will send you a press kit, they will send you all the stuff that you need, which a lot of people do not do here. They don't take serious. So if we want to compete and get on the festival stages and play with the global key players, we must play and speak the same language.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julius. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll read some of your comments and we'll dive into the next section of the show, which is the final part of the show, asking Julius actually really if they are ready to go back on stage. And what happened, should there just be another call for lockdown? What would continue to be the next option for the talent management? We're hearing a lot of situations in the music industry where people are running mad and not having their mind in the right place because the stress levels have been so high for people in the creative and performing arts industry. So Julius is definitely going to be answering some of these questions, and if you have comments and kisses, please share it out. We're live on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. Go there, share far and wide, like, and make sure that that artist that you love is actually listening to a person who is doing it right for Uganda and exporting talent to the world. This is the Creative Industry Talk. We'll be right back after this break.
So, distinguishing prose poetry and drama.
Yes.
This is an academic question.
Yes.
So let me just be frank with it. So we have literature. Literature can easily simply be defined as the creative expressions of a given culture, of a given people. And it is normally done through writing, through singing, through speaking. Now, literature is that creative expression that focuses on the written word. As you hear the word itself, literature, literate, meaning to write. Now, we are going to restrict ourselves to three things. So we talked about prose, we talked about poetry, we talked about drama. Now, prose is that kind of creative expression that is more elaborate. It is more elaborate. So if you're reading a novel, if you're reading a short story, if you're reading a biography, that falls within the. If you're an essay, that is in a form of prose. Now poetry is more rhythmic. It is briefer. And in most cases, we use a lot of descriptive and colorful language. So if you look at a novel and a poem, what a novel can say in 200 words, a poem can say in 1 page. Now, those are the differences between the poetry.
That's the difference between these.
Yes. Now, when it comes to drama, the way you hear the word, drama is language in action. Language in action. So drama is that kind of written literature where you capture characters talking. But from what they talk, for you the reader or the listener, you can infer what is taking place. So drama is always takes place when characters are either talking to themselves or they're talking to others.
Love, I love ya. Need, I need ya. Uganda. Love, I love ya. Need, I need ya. Uganda. Hey, they can't tell me nothing about you to make me believe. Oh, you should not be listening to rumors they're spreading on me. I've got all that I want, but I tell you it's you that I need. Want you to listen, to listen, to listen. Want to listen to me. Oh girl, you are the pearl of Africa. Oh yeah, none in the world like you in Africa. Uganda, you are for me, Uganda. Me love how you treat me, Uganda. Only one window, only one window. Uganda, and you are my Uganda. Me love how you treat me, Uganda. Only one window, only one window. Oh, oh, oh. Kampala, Masaka, Mbale, Arua. Oh, oh, oh. Jinja, Mbara, Ragubo. Oh, oh, oh. I'm feeling you, I'm loving you. Oh, oh, oh. My pearl, yes you are. Oh girl, you are the pearl of Africa. Oh yeah, none in the world like you in Africa. Uganda, you are for me, Uganda. Me love how you treat me, Uganda. Only one window, only one window. Uganda.
Thank you very much and welcome back from that break. You've seen that video right there. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Okwera and in the studio is Julius Kyazze from Swangz Avenue. He's the business development director there, but also a talent manager for Swangz Avenue. He's been in it for a long time and he's sharing with us their readiness for the market opening, for performing arts market happening in Uganda. We've been in a lockdown for over 2 years and it's been a very stressful period. Julius, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I'll start from that video which we've just played from an international artist. Tyler is one of those big artists that you guys worked with, in 2018.
2018, yeah. When we were celebrating 10 years of Swangz, yeah.
Yes. Just share some little bit of the learning that you picked from there while working with him. You brought a big name into the country. He looked so humbled, and when he went to the video, he didn't complain. Normally, international artists don't want to do that kind of stuff, but there he was, and he was singing, and he was basically sharing and promoting Uganda. What would you like to say about that as an experience?
These guys are extremely professional.
Yeah.
He has so much respect for his team. Taras worked with Dean Fraser in the studio, for instance, when we were doing the song. So his manager also happens to be one of the best sound engineers in Jamaica. And then Dean Fraser is saxophonist. He's also a legend in his own right. Yeah. So when they're in studio, it was an amazing experience watching them work in studio. Yeah. They would even get him to redo lines because he feels he sang them well, they feel no, he's not sang it well. Yeah. And he wouldn't sulk or anything, like he would just take instruction. Yeah. So it was very, very humbling. It was even humbling for Nessim, worked with producer Nessim. Okay. But seeing, a big superstar, about to sell out a full stadium, 20,000 people, yeah, taking instruction, from different people, very, very professional. Okay. Yeah, because he trusts them, he knows, these guys have been around, whatever they want, we're on the same team. Yeah. And maybe sometimes that's what our musicians forget. Yeah. Usually you and your managers are on the same team. Yeah. But they sometimes forget and they think maybe the manager wants something, and maybe sometimes they are right. Yeah. But you all want the same thing. Okay. Yeah, you all want the same thing. So
talking of that, I just want to know from you. Most of African artists, more so just to zero down in East Africa and in Uganda in particular, are usually the moment there's one song hit like this, they tend to think like they have arrived on the top of the stage, and therefore, listening becomes a bit of a problem. Humility is not part of our growth going forward. How are you managing that at Swangz Avenue? You have got some star-studded, talent on the level.
So, usually I think where the problem comes from, yes, is one, exposure, and then two, the vision, yeah, or the size of the dream. So as a label, or me as a label head, my job first, before anything else, is sell the vision. Sell to the artists what they could become. Yeah. Now, if they are hungry enough, yeah, and buy into that, yeah, they will not let many things get in the way. So they won't let one hit get in the way of what could be. Yeah. A lot of people that behave like that, they potentially do not know what they can, end up being. Yeah. So it's a big aspect of my job, and even my colleagues at the label, to sell the vision that this is what you can potentially become. Forget this one hit now. Look at, person ABCD who's done it 100 times bigger what you've done. So once the artist buys into that, they'll stay humble because the dream is bigger. Once the artist thinks that a hit song is all I wanted and it's all I need, then you're always going to have a problem. Yeah.
Okay. Julius, let's talk about the value chain. I mean, you are giving the artist out to, booking the artist out to very many promoters out there, and we've been in a lockdown for 2 years. Are you ready to get the artist out there? Do you think that the Ugandan event industry and the market is ready to get the artists out there and to become vibrant again, or even better?
Depends on how you look at it and who you ask.
Yeah.
But events have actually been going on. It's just the scale. So the question is, are we ready for a full stadium?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
in terms of most of the events in Kampala, on average, are 500 people, 1,000 people, which is the size of a big wedding. And these have been happening every weekend.
Yeah.
And the artists that have been working, a lot of people are saying artists have not been working, but there are artists that have been working. I'll give an example, like Kyazze last year, I think was the most booked artist in 2020. It was so busy, it was difficult to find a date in 2020 from Kyazze, 2020. Even 2020, Shiba was busy. Some of those, the most booked artists, Kyazze, Shiba, Winnie Noaji at the time, I think 2020, the first lockdown, yeah? So there are people that were working. So what has changed? What is changing now with unlocking is, are we able to go full throttle? Are we able to do, say, 5,000 people? I think we are, but it's also a wrong assumption as business people that are in the events business to assume like everything will be, business as usual. It could be, it could not, because people naturally for 2 years, there are new habits that have been cultivated. They could rush back into the big events, but the challenge is, are we able to sustain them there? Because people now maybe are happy partying in small groups. And definitely if you put up big shows now, they will go. But the issue, would they sustain that demand? Would they still want to go weekend in, weekend out? Because now they've tested life in isolation. Live small events, live small weddings. So what we are asking, are we going to see more weddings with 1,000 people, or are we going to see more weddings with 50 people? So I think that is going to grow. Smaller weddings is going to become a thing even after they open. The same thing I think will affect also the events. And that's the question we need to be aware about as event organizers. We should not assume because the market has opened, people are just going to flock in. And what does that mean to us? We need to think harder. We need to give them reason for them to keep coming to the big shows. And those are the questions we're asking ourselves. What is it that we're going to put in our events for people to continue coming back to the events?
Okay. So we're talking about creativity, and this program is about, creative industry of Uganda. I want to just ask you, do you think that we're being creative enough, for this opening that we're going into, or Uganda could easily suffer the setback of the backlog of, COVID-19 lockdown, and then people just say, it's all right, we've moved on. You guys have heavily invested into events promotion and event setup and staging and all this stuff that we always talk about. The glamour, the glitz and the glamour of the event has a lot of money invested in it. You guys at Swangz Avenue have invested quite enormous amount of money. Do you think that people are likely to come back, and should there be not that good reception of people just returning to what it used to be? What are you going to do about your investment?
So again, like what I've just said, people are going to give us a chance. They'll come back to these events. The question is, will they keep coming back after they come back? So what does that mean? We need to give them a reason to return after they come back to us, because they're going to come to us. They're inevitably going to come now that we are open. They'll give us a chance. But are we interesting enough? Do we have enough value proposition for the market for them to keep coming? And so we won't know until maybe 3-4 months into, maybe even 6 months into the opening. So we'll start getting actual feedback on this situation. I think maybe July, maybe June.
Yeah.
But now people are going to come. The question is, will they still keep coming?
Yeah.
Because if they come and it's not as good, maybe it's not.
My stress levels are not being reduced.
Yeah,
like I expected.
maybe I'm happy
Yeah.
going on a road trip
Yeah.
like I did in 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm happy chilling with my boys at a Kabalaza like we've been doing in 2019. Maybe this show thing is not my thing anymore. So you try it 1-2 times, maybe you leave.
Yeah.
So the onus is on us, event organizers. Let's not just assume that we are back to business as usual. It's human nature. People are going to want value, and that's what we need to think of offering.
Wow.
Yeah.
You host Roast and Rhymes. Is it coming back soon?
Oh yes, we already have a date.
Yeah.
Roast and Rhyme returns next month, the 27th, Sunday the 27th at Jahazi Paya. We return with Roast and Rhyme. The edition is Reggae Nyam Nyam. It's a very popular edition of Roast and Rhyme. So yeah, we are returning back this year with 3 editions.
Okay.
But they are, we have news that, there are twists to our editions this year. Like I said, we don't want to just assume people just want to come back. So we want people to come, but also experience something different. So we are reimagining our experiences at Roast and Rhyme.
Talking of that, by the way, what is the definition behind Roast and Rhymes? And
So-
like, what is the event set out for? What did you set out to achieve? What's the vision behind it? In Uganda, sometimes we just say, we just want to party. But in most cases in Europe, they're always doing something to either introduce new music to people or to create a new culture of live events where people come, people who would never necessarily go for, the CD performance, whenever there is, musical festival going on. But then you seems to be more focusing on a certain class of people and a certain, sort of like live events kind of new thing that is coming up. But I would want to hear from you and to everybody who is listening and watching the show.
So we do not classify people for our events per se. Roast and Rhyme is for people that love meat and music and live music. So if you the kind that appreciates a good time with your friends by the lake, it's like a family picnic. Like get your friends, come by the lake, bring your meat, bring your stove. Roast it by the lake. If you're not the kind to get dirty with the charcoal and the roasting and the meat, we have vendors there that sell, very, very tasty, different kinds of meat. And then we'll give you some of the best live performances you'll ever see in this country. So we invest so much time to make sure, they sound well, they're rehearsed well, they're good, and we never have playback. Like you never find a performance at Roast and Rhyme using a CD. So it's for people that love music and love to have a good time with friends by the lake eating meat.
Okay, so if I want to come and see an artist really perform live, for me is the place to go.
That's the
and I
place.
want to be able to have that experience with that artist and the music.
Yeah.
All right, Julius, we're coming to the evening of our show today, or of our program today, and the interview. Before I take you to the 1 or 2 questions to go, I have a question for you. Are you ready to consider the economic situation to reduce on your artist pricing? So that also the events organizers can have, a relaxed stress levels. They are crying and saying it is too expensive booking your artist or booking your artist. I want the artist, but I can't afford right now. What are you going to do? Or do you think that there is money in the economy that supports this?
So one, my artists are not expensive.
Okay.
My artists are very fairly priced.
Okay.
If someone finds the artist very expensive,
Yeah.
either the reason they are taking them for does not match up the kind of entertainment they want to take.
Yeah.
But they are fairly priced, and we want to say the economy is bad, but like I said,
Yeah.
Selling music and art is like selling everything else.
Yeah.
So if fuel is going up and food prices are going up, and these musicians spend on these same things, so why do we think then their services will go down? Yeah, so it's not that we're taking them up, but we're saying if everything is going up, why do we then want art to go down?
Which has always been the case. Where why art is always priced lower and yet everything is going up.
So if everything is going up, art is going up.
Okay.
That we can promise you for free.
Great stuff. Yes. So I have Foodie House Uganda says, I have no questions, just here to show love and support to Genius husband, Julius Kyazze. I am very sure this is your wife.
Yeah, that's my wife.
And I want to guide to people who are on our line. Of course, the messenger usually have too many messages, over 250. We can't read all of them, but I will sample some of them for Julius, and I want to go there. Julius, I have a question for you from a Ugandan in Jinja. Thank you very much to see you guys coming back to live, and I'm great. I thought that the country was not ready to open up on 24th. First of all, so many things going on in the country at the moment. I have a question to Julius. How does one get to Swangz Avenue and get artists to Swangz Avenue? Is there a criteria to get an artist there? If I have a son who loves music and is young, how do I get my son to be nurtured without him having to drop out of school?
We actually get these requests quite a bit.
Yes.
Parents always come to us. So what we do for free and don't even charge for is we're happy to listen to your child and give you a guidance as a parent. We also try, for the longest time, we've tried not to sign up kids, because then it's such a big diversion also from school, especially at the basic level.
Yes.
But we're able to guide parents and then give kids sometimes like a studio session or a weekend program. It's not very defined now, but yeah, we are happy to listen to parents, and we've done this over the years, and we'll continue to do that. In terms of, do we have a procedure to get artists? Send us demos. We always listening to demos. You never know. Like we have a beautiful voice coming out soon that we've just picked up.
Okay.
Same situation. Send us a demo as how we found the same way. So send. There are no procedures, no red tape. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julius, for answering that question. We're going to listen to this to the close very quickly. I have a question coming from Kawoya. I'm watching the show from Bugolobi. Fantastic stuff, guys. I don't know why I had not been able to see this before, but I'm glad to see Julius there. I'm a fan of Swangz Avenue. And I have a question for Julius. Talent development in the country has not been managed very well. A lot of musicians come up and often fall out with the talent management companies. And we don't have necessarily a very good academy that developed young talent, upcoming talent. Forget about these big artists who keep coming up, keep saying the upcoming artists, We're talking about the young people who are very good and very serious to take over. Is Swangz Avenue going to develop, or Buzz going to develop an academy that can take off these people and actually train them? Otherwise, the church will always be the best place for talent development, and when they're in church, they need to get out there and become commercial. Is Julius and the team ready to look after this? Their plan is basically asking for an academy.
So there are plans for an academy.
Yes.
But it's not a music academy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's all I can say for now. but for music, we've always nurtured people, and we shall continue to do that.
Okay.
It's unfortunate we can only do so much.
Yeah.
We have programs where we want to be able to nurture creatives, not just musicians, like videographers, filmmakers, copywriters, video directors. We have a full program we want to roll out. We're trying to find funding for it, but it's difficult. It's difficult to self-fund. But we have a program ready. We've piloted it. We partnered with Motive before and done a pilot where we built a podcast studio that's actually ready at Motive for hire by young people to use. But it was built by young guys that we skilled. So we have a skilling program that we've piloted. Proof of concept is available. So now we are talking to people that have the monies to see how we can roll this out and take it to Gulu, take it to Mbarara, take it to all these other places.
Okay.
Yeah, so if my good friend there has a bit of money, we are happy to have a conversation.
Well, you've heard it from Julius, and there's a business opportunity for you there. I'm going to sample just too many coming, but just I want to go to YouTube straight away and see. Juko Pius says, here watching my boss doing it bigger way. Thanks for the education, and that's what we are here for at Swangz Avenue. I suppose this must be your staff.
Yeah, that's one of our producers.
Yes. And then I see George Gonza says, well said on the topic. We need to have an open mind on our approach to the market with the reopening of events. Yes, that's coming from George Gonza. I want to dive to some of the guys in the US to stay up long. Edio Killer, my name is Gonzaga, and of course I'm a Muganda. I'm a great fan of Swangz Avenue work. I saw Benon in the US, and I wish I could meet Benon and just give him thanks, but he was far away from the state where I am. I live in Seattle, but I saw his post in the US. My question to Julius is, shall we see more of a Zoe going out of Uganda to the US, and Uganda has the potential to take over the world because we have too much talent? Is Swangz Avenue going to continue doing this, or we're going to see a Zoe and then it stops there?
So
yes,
we naturally have a desire to do things.
Yes.
And go big and grow.
Yeah.
The thing that keeps us awake is, how do we grow?
Yeah.
If we place A today, how do we go to place B tomorrow? That's the driving force. So yes, we have that desire, and we have plans to to have many more artists, more bigger projects, to get even Azawi and Vinka and Winnie, and even all the new artists that we bring to the label, and even other people that are not at Swangz, but see how we can partner and lift the industry, not just ourselves. It's better when we all as an industry, at least we have some bit of movement upwards, as opposed to just Swangz, making major moves. So if we can all make some small movement as a unit, as an entire industry, it's better for us, it's better for everyone, as opposed to Swangz making giant moves. Because you can only go so far when you leave your friends here. It's like being a rich man in a poor neighborhood. Like that doesn't help anyone. So we're looking to collaborate, not with just the foreign people, but even locally, to see how we can lift ourselves as an industry, not just as a business.
Wow. And of course, we're coming to that last part. I have one more question coming from the United Kingdom. My name is Katongole. I live and work in the UK. I'm a great fan of Swangz Avenue work. I think they're very professional in their approach to, promoting Ugandan talent out there. I love them just as well as I love Steve Jean, but I find these guys very, the work they're doing with the new female artists is good. For a long time, we had, Juliana, and we had, Irene Namobiru, but the management didn't do very well. We should have exported them. I'm glad to see that Swangz Avenue is taking some of the female artists out of Uganda. My question to Julius and the team at Swangz Avenue, are we likely to see more of this? Do we have some talent that can be taken and exported out of Uganda so that we can, also have that level of, Nigeria?
Yes, we have the talent, but it's going to start with us, like Ugandans. I'll give you an example, and maybe a challenge to Ugandans. If you go to a bar or you go to a restaurant and you pay your money and spend 200,000 on a meal with your family or your friends, why are they playing foreign music? Because this doesn't happen in Nigeria. This doesn't happen in Ghana. Go to the manager. Tell him, I'm spending money here. I need to support. Because that's how you support your industry. When Nigerians even come to this country, they will enter a bar and we want champagne, but you must play music ABCD. So what they are doing is not suppressing our music. They are promoting their culture. So if we can also pick ourselves, before we criticize the artists, everyone criticizes the artists. Oh, they are not talented enough. Oh, they've not gone global. But the consumption is low. Like it's better in some countries. Like in Kenya, for instance, it's sad. In Kenya, they are top Apple countdown, top 10, top 100. There's no Kenyan songs. It's all foreign music. You find Azawi on their countdowns. You find Vink on their countdown. They don't have their. So if we are not careful, we'll end up being like Kenya. Kenya's music industry has really dipped because of that. Our Ugandan industry has been very supportive, but we need a lot more of that. So if you want people to go international, let's consume this, because the logarithms of these streaming platforms will pick it up, and then we'll export it to other markets.
Okay. Guys, we have got to close this show today, but Okay, one from a female comment coming in. It says, "Hi Edu Killer, my name is Susan, and I am a great fan of Swangz Avenue work, and I love what they're doing. Particularly the promotion of the female artists in their platform. It's been really a great movement for them and has helped us to move forward." My question to Julius is, sometimes in Uganda we are not very professional, and most of our artists in Uganda are not very professional. How do we get many of these artists to be professional and listened to a top management team like Julius, who put in their money into promoting the artist? You find that the artists, instead of staying with the management for, let's say, a couple of years, they just walk out. They're quick for quick money. How do we help the artists to remain committed to this point?
I have news for you. So that generation, I think, is going or gone.
Yeah.
So Ugandans need to also appreciate that there's been a bit of growth already.
Yeah.
The new crop of artists, it's different. They didn't struggle so much. They come from maybe, better families. A lot of them are learned as well, which was not the case maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's already been movement that people respect contracts more.
Yeah.
People are under management more. That was, never the case before. So as much as we want them to be professional, but we need to first acknowledge that there's been a bit of movement and in the right direction. The music industry in Uganda is in a better place. It's in a place that it has never been before. This is the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah.
You find some of the old artists, they'll tell you, no, those years, Kyazze will buy an album for 30 million, now the industry is dead. My friend, people are getting paid 50 million to just put social media posts. So, and then you can't tell me now is a bad time.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best our industry has ever been, and we can only build it further. So before we even punch it, let's look at the wins.
Okay.
Consolidate the wins, then move forward, and we shall get there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julius. One more from my friend Vivoyo Oweyo says, "Yeah, that's what's up, my man." Okay, shout out to you, Vivoyo. It's been a while, and I've seen he's been releasing his part of Swangz Avenue. How did you...
He's a video producer at Swangz, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you turn Vivoyo around? Back in the days, Lugum Street was Vivoyo, and then now the copy is.
We didn't turn him around. He turned himself around.
Okay.
Those are decisions you make as an individual. So Vivoyo made a decision to continue growing.
Yeah.
To evolve into something else.
Yes.
And most of these videos that you see by Swangz, directed by Marvin Musoke, the only thing you don't see is produced by Vivoyo.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's behind all those amazing productions, the commercials that you see and all that.
Yeah.
So he made the decision to evolve himself.
Yeah.
We didn't
Which
do
most
that.
of his friends at Lugum Street. But he was always a guy who was always upwardly moving, and we knew he was going definitely to be highly achiever up there.
Yeah.
And so shout out to you, Vivoyo. And of course to everyone out there, we want to just say, Julius, if you would just put the video up there, let us try this video. Somebody wants to see this video again of Azari. Can you just put it up there? And I will ask Julius how this video got up there as we close.
Trade secrets. You might not get the details how the videos ended there,
yes.
but that's the biggest marketing platform in the world, New York Times Square.
Okay.
And through our different partnerships globally, YouTube and the other streaming platforms, we managed to promote our album on some of the world's biggest platforms. So we had it at the Times Square in LA, we had it in Atlanta, we had it in London as well. It was part of a huge promotional plan for Azawi, especially post the album release, which has given us a lot of fruits after that.
Yeah, and I think most Ugandans are quite very happy about it. I think this has been Uganda's actually biggest platform out there in recent times. People are very happy about it. And Julius, what's your parting shot today? What would you like to leave us with?
Well, again, life, as we recover, as we get back to opening the economy, it's about choices, doing our businesses. So we can either choose, because anything could happen now. We could be told that we are getting into another lockdown. So it's going to be a decision that we have to make. Either we sulk and go back to watching TV at home, or we can create art. Locked or not, I think we have a great opportunity. It's a great time to be in Africa as Africans, creating art, creating magic. So you know, let's take the best use of this. You know, let's look at Africa as a piece where we can tell our stories, where we can sell our music, where we can make so much money, where we can inspire each other, you know, across the different platforms. Africa to the world.
Wow. Thank you very much, Africa to the world. That's coming from Julius. And thank you very much, everybody, for being a part of the Creative Industry Talk, growing bigger and better. We'll be back here next week, same time, same place. And of course, we are dedicating this particular series of the Creative Industry Talk discussion, putting the topic up there, the challenges of 2022 for, you know, the independent creative arts and in event supply chain, in talent management and readiness for, you know, events opening up in Uganda after 2 years. But most especially, we're talking about the challenges for the creatives, independent creatives, in the 2022 year of our Lord. Otherwise, we've come to the end. Thank you very much to the crew here that makes things happen. We say thank you, and to the people who make you know, everything here turn around, and to all you guys who send in your kisses, you know, your disses and your comments out there for Creative Industry Talk, we want to say thank you. We have come to the end, and we want to do as we always do with Julius. We always have to spread love. I mean, Pastor Joshua Mugabe said we have to spread love to people.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And we're spreading love to you guys. Until next week, stay blessed. Creative Industry Talk has come to an end, and blessed.